A few weeks ago in court, NASCAR made the argument that they are not. No. They are not like any other sport. Do you hear that, Curtis Polk? They are not like the NBA. They are not like the NHL. They are not like the NFL. So, because of that, they have announced that they have a commissioner now. Wait, what? Yes. Incredible timing by NASCAR, really, truly. But yes, they now have a commissioner of NASCAR. They are calling it a new role. So who's going to be this commissioner? Everyone's favorite, Steve Phelps. Steve O'Donnell will take over the president role, which Steve Phelps previously held. Let's read this press release. NASCAR today announced the appointment of Steve Phelps as commissioner of NASCAR, the first to be named to this newly created role, overseeing all aspects of America's top motorsport, including the IMSA, or the International Motorsports Association, and all 15 NASCAR-owned or operated tracks. Additionally, Steve O'Donnell, longtime industry leader and current COO, will succeed Phelps in the critical role of NASCAR president with day-to-day leadership of all three NASCAR National Series and all NASCAR commercial, media, and track operations, as well as its 4 international series and multiple local and grassroots properties. Both roles are effective immediately and will be based in Daytona Beach, Florida. The NASCAR chairman and CEO, Jim France, said, "We are thrilled to name Steve Phelps as NASCAR's first commissioner. His leadership, professionalism, and well-earned respect from across the sports industry speak to his unique value for the sport." With more than 50 years of expertise between them, both Steve Phelps and Steve O'Donnell bring tremendous expertise, stability, and a commitment to the bold racing innovations that will continue to serve fans, teams, and stakeholders for many years to come. It also points out that Phelps will lead all functions of the sport with a specific focus on strategic growth and international expansion while continuing to work directly with NASCAR owners Jim France and Lisa France Kennedy. Steve Phelps then said, "I'm honored to take this next step in helping to guide NASCAR, the sport I've loved since my father took me to my first race at 5 years old, continue to grow and welcome new fans, competitors, and partners that together create some of the most extraordinary moments in sports. I cannot thank the France family enough for their unwavering commitment to our fans, their steady leadership, and most importantly, their stewardship of stock car racing since its inception nearly 8 decades ago. This sport is truly one of the great American business stories, and I'm privileged to continue as part of that legacy and especially its bright future." And then when it comes to Steve O'Donnell, he will become NASCAR's 6th president. He will take over the everyday management of the sport with a focus on continuing to deliver historically exciting racing, exceptional partnership value, and a world-class fan experience at every NASCAR National Series event throughout the season. It also says that his scope will also be focused on operations, competition, commercial business for the sanctioning body. And then O'Donnell said, "In my 30 years in NASCAR, I've been most inspired by the passion of race fans at tracks across the country. It has been a privilege to help bring our sport to those fans through incredible new venues and innovative, engaging content that showcase the best racing in our storied history. I believe we're the best in the world at creating bucket list events that merge sports and entertainment with tailgating, camping, and the most immersive fan experience in sports. I'm honored to continue that mission and build upon the collaboration and innovation with our teams and partners to deliver the best racing to sports fans everywhere." It also points out that he will also focus on growth of the sport, as both roles will obviously focus on. But then it also says that he will oversee the sport's major investments in content creation and distribution throughout the NASCAR production facility and other sorts of content. So when you think of a commissioner, usually you think of, at least today, some of you may be thinking of 10 years ago, 20 years ago, someone else. But right now, you think about the NBA. You think about Adam Silver as the commissioner. You think about the NFL and Roger Goodell. You think about the MLB and you think about Rob Manfred. I think I just heard booze when I said that last one. Anywho, yes, most commissioners get booed a lot, but Manfred specifically, we're getting off point. So, point being, NASCAR now has a commissioner. So, What does this mean exactly? Well, similar to other commissioner roles, it seems that Steve Phelps is going to be overseeing everything. You think about Adam Silver, he's overlooking everything from potential NBA expansion teams to the schedule to going international when they do their NBA France game or their NBA UK game, their NBA Australia game, whatever it is. He's overlooking all these different aspects of the sport of the league and trying to help grow the NBA and basketball as a whole. And it appears that Steve Phelps is going to be doing something very similar. It points out specifically that he is going to be looking at strategic growth and international expansion. Obviously, if you work for NASCAR, especially if you are higher up, your goal is to grow the sport, to reach out to more fans so that NASCAR as a whole can make more money and continue to make this thing run. So growth, that's pretty straightforward. Try to get more fans, try to get more money. Yeah, don't really think I have to focus in on that. As for international expansion, as I said, we have seen in the United States, I don't like comparing NASCAR to other sports because it's so different and there's so many different factors and whatnot. But it is something to point out that a lot of American sports have gone international in the last decade or so. The NFL has 4 to 5 games a year now. Over in Europe, they're going to go to Australia, I think next year or in 2 years. They went to Brazil this past season. The NBA, as I mentioned, they've gone to France, they've gone to the UK. I think they've also gone to Australia. They've gone to China too. So we've seen a lot of these sport leagues. I know I've only pointed out a couple. I'm not going to name every single one. I believe in you guys to figure this out. But a lot of these sports leagues have gone international. Well, NASCAR has been wanting to. In fact, technically, they are going international this year when they go to Mexico in June. But the point being, NASCAR has been talking about going international, expanding their horizons for a few years now. NASCAR has really stepped out of their comfort zone, which is something I applaud NASCAR for over the past 5 or 6 years in terms of the types of racetracks we go to. We've had a dirt track on the schedule when they put dirt on Bristol for a couple of years there. We go to the Circuit of the Americas, an F1 track now. We've gone to Road America. We've gone to the streets of Chicago. We've done a lot of innovative, unique, not considered NASCAR traditionally that we've done. We've seen a lot of growth, I would say, in NASCAR. We've seen a lot of potential growth at the very least in terms of fan engagement, reaching out, trying to do something different. And the next big step would be to go international. And as I said, we're going to Mexico this year, but there's been reports about going to Brazil potentially. Long term, like years down the line, going to the Middle East, maybe, Europe, maybe. NASCAR is technically, they are international right now. They got a Euro series, they got a Brazil series, a Mexico series, a Canada series. So in a sense, NASCAR's international already, but in terms of the Cup series going, or the Xfinity trucks, one of the national series going overseas, that is what I believe it talks about. So it appears that Steve Phelps, who has talked very openly about wanting to expand NASCAR, to take NASCAR overseas, it appears that those are going to be a couple of his focuses, as well as looking at everything NASCAR owns. NASCAR itself, Darlington this weekend, the Cup and the Xfinity Series, Bristol next weekend with the Truck Series, overlooking that in a sense, but also IMSA, which is NASCAR owned. The racetracks that are owned directly by NASCAR, that includes Daytona, Talladega, Martinsville, Darlington, Watkins Glen, Kansas, just to name a few. So overlooking the operation. So if any of these racetracks, Homestead, Miami, this is a great point to bring up them, if they're going to undergo a major renovation, undergo a major change in terms of the facility, that would be something I believe that Phelps would be overlooking now. So anything NASCAR owns, whether it's a racetrack, whether it's a series, whether it's a vending machine, I guess, theoretically. Okay, maybe not that. He might have someone else to do that for him. But you get my point. Anything NASCAR owned or operated, Steve Phelps will be overlooking that. As for Steve O'Donnell, he is now the president of NASCAR, so he is overlooking the day-to-day operations. So that includes For example, this weekend at Darlington, Saturday and Sunday, overlooking the day-to-day operations, how the race is run from a competitor standpoint, how it's run from a venue standpoint, Darlington Raceway, how it's run from any other aspect we got to look at. So another interesting note, someone, NASCAR Man on Twitter, pointed out, NASCAR has technically had a commissioner before. It looks like it was more of a ceremonial role, but it did exist. But NASCAR is calling this its first commissioner. So very interesting, I guess. But yes, NASCAR now has a commissioner. It's Steve Phelps, weeks after NASCAR countersues 2311 in Front Row and says that Curtis Polk, this is not like other sports like the NBA. They add a role that the NBA's most known person is. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, if I say the NBA and you're not allowed to name a player or a coach, like who runs the NBA, you're going to say Adam Silver. So thanks for watching this video. Big news today in the NASCAR world. Tonight, we will go live at our normal time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, to do a live stream. Looking forward to that. I will make a couple of announcements there, so that'll be fun. But thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video.